Hi, I'm Marsha, and this video is a contest entry for the channel All the World's a Stage. Now, Steve over at All the World's a Stage is putting on a contest in which he has asked us to share our three favorite Bob Dylan cover songs, as well as share a story about our moms. And the reason he has asked for us to share a story about our moms is because Bob Dylan and Steve's mom share a birthday, May 24th, and May is Mother's Day month. So this video couldn't have come at a better time because I've been sitting on some VCLT that I wanted to share in an upcoming video. And that VCLT is from Steve, and it is an album from the subject of our contest, Bob Dylan. He sent me a copy of Bob Dylan's Infidels. I have been listening to a lot, and I really like this album a lot. I know some people have some issues with the 80s production in this album, but I was a teenager in the 80s, so I dig 80s production. So thank you so much, Steve, for thinking of me and passing this along. I really, really appreciate your kindness. Now, on to my favorite Bob Dylan covers. I did a video a couple of months ago where I had shown a Marianne Faithfull album that had a really great version of It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. And in that same video, I showed off a really great version of It's All Over Now, Baby Blue by Link Wray. I have another great version of It's All Over Now, Baby Blue to show off, and it is from the 1977 album Before We Were So Rudely Interrupted by the Animals. Now, it says up here the original Animals. I don't quite understand that title of the band. I'm sure it has something to do with contracts and copyrights and lawyers and all that kind of bullshit, but this is a really great album. It is from the late 70s, but it's not a disco version of It's All Over Now, Baby Blue. Next up is Johnny Rivers' Positively 4th Street off of his album Realization. Now, Bob Dylan wrote in his autobiography that was released in the mid-2000s that his favorite cover song of all the songs that he wrote was Johnny Rivers' version of Positively 4th Street. And I understand that Bob Dylan is an unreliable narrator about his own life, his experiences, his thoughts, but this really is a great version. And Bob Dylan wrote that Johnny Rivers delivered the song emotionally the way that Dylan wanted to, but wasn't capable of because of the limitations of his own voice. I come across this album quite a bit in bargain bins. I don't know why it's in a bargain bin. This is a really great soft rock California style album, and Positively 4th Street just closes it out beautifully. And lastly, my favorite Bob Dylan cover song is Rod Stewart. Tomorrow is Such a Long Time, as it's titled back here on the album, but that's the incorrect title of the song. It's actually Tomorrow is a Long Time. If you pick up a CD version, or if you pick up later pressings of this album or listen to it on streaming, it'll have the correct title on it. But I love this album. I love this version of the song. And the reason I picked it up is because me and my mom were just talking about Rod Stewart a couple weeks back about how Rod Stewart, used to be pretty awesome and now he's kind of a joke. My mom, she is a music fan, and she introduced me to most of the music that I love. Our taste in music is very similar, and it's primarily because I like what she likes. And more importantly, we don't like the same stuff. I think we bond more about that than we do what we actually like. My mom is a big Bob Dylan fan. She told me the first time that she became aware of Bob Dylan was in her choral class when she was in 6th grade. They were reading Life magazine or Time magazine, and there was a feature in there about Joan Baez, and her teacher had said that, yeah, and her boyfriend's pretty funny looking. And my mom thought that was mean, and then she looked at the page and it was Bob Dylan, and she said to herself, well, I guess he is kind of funny looking. And then, he proceeded to then become one of her favorite artists of all time. The last time I saw my mom was on Easter dinner, and we were actually in the kitchen making dinner. Well, she was making dinner. I was just basically kind of getting in her way, asking where shit was. And we were listening to a Bob Dylan playlist. And I think my mom's favorite Bob Dylan song is Shelter from the Storm. And the reason I say I think it's her favorite song is because when my mom hears a song that she likes, she throws her arms up in the air. And she seems to throw her arms up in the air more enthusiastically to Shelter from the Storm than any of the other Bob Dylan songs that were playing that day. And my mom is a very serious person. So when she does this, you know she is in love with that song. So that's a story about my mom and my favorite Bob Dylan cover songs. If you haven't checked out Steve's channel, please do. He is a great guy. He's got a wonderfully dry sense of humor and a great collection of records, and he's got a great collection of rock and roll books as well. So thank you so much for watching my channel, everybody. Take care. Bye.